Hey everybody, Barry here again. This should be the last 4L80 video that I do in this series, which would be kind of cool because I'd like to get this thing put together and forgot about it. Basically, all the modifications are done that I needed to do. Drum is drilled, second seal is taken out, this second seal right here is taken out. All that stuff is done. Now it's just cleaning and reassembly. And to be honest, I have no idea what I'm going to use to clean it. Probably brake cleaner, spray it over, wipe with a rag, blow it off with air, and then I would say that'll probably be it. But as of now, I don't quite know. So I guess it's pretty much just to get to it. I literally have no idea what I'm doing. I wouldn't use this as your guide to putting together a 4L80 because I'm watching some other guy's video who says do it like this, and if he's wrong, I'd rather be the last one that it messes up in the chain of, you know, fixing, watching, that kind of thing. So other than that, basically, I guess it's time to get it ready, buzz this thing back together, and hopefully next week start doing passes. I'm really itching to try out this sloppy third gear trans brake. I'm really excited. And of course, the first one, I'll have it on video, whether it implodes the transmission or it does a 400-foot wheelie, which I kind of doubt. But yeah, anyway, let's get this done. First, I'm going to go through this whole pile of transmission parts. This is the two-wheel drive that everything was burnt up. This is the four-wheel drive that everything is in better shape. So I think basically the only thing I'm going to have to do is change over this drum or planetary or whatever you call it, because it has the reluctor for the rear speed sensor, whereas this one doesn't. So I'll probably just change this whole unit and then use everything that's right here. I'm going to use for cleaning, and you can grill me if you like, I'm going to use methyl hydrate. Stuff is awesome for cleaning. I run it through all my injectors when I do them. I've cleaned a bunch of stuff with it, and it's just steel. It's not going to hurt anything. It evaporates well. I'll blow it all out anyway, wipe it off. Any of this stuff here that's just gears or whatever, the pump, I'm going to soak that in methyl hydrate, or not soak, just kind of get it in there and swish it around. I'll put this stuff into a bucket and install it in the transmission as it goes, I would say. And I'm sure it goes without saying, but use a clean bucket. Don't use your old man's oil change bucket that has stains in it and he's been throwing used base oil in it since like the 70s, because that's all gonna get in there and just not gonna work very well. So clean bucket, new methyl hydrate, new solvent, whatever it is you're gonna use. Don't use old stuff that's turned brown because that's not going to help you one little bit in the world. Also, I don't have one of those fancy transmission stand things, so this is going to be difficult. I'm probably going to end up building it right here on the bench. It's going to suck, but I'll do what I can. Like I said, I don't have a stand to work on this transmission, so I came up with half a solution. I'm going to take a hole saw and cut a hole in the middle of my table so that when the input shaft comes out through the back of the transmission, it can just go down through there and I can assemble the transmission just like it is. And I can reach over it fine here. Might be a little bit uncomfortable, but it'll work. For my one transmission rebuild that I'm planning, this is going to work perfectly fine. Unless I tip it over. Then it's going to suck. But we'll jump off that bridge when we get to it. Here at Station Road Rat Rods, we modify everything, including the workbench. So basically now, input shaft, chunk down through there. Transmission can sit flat, and I should be able to just kind of assemble it. Is it going to work? Who knows? But At least for the next transmission I build, I'll have lots of room for fluid to just pour down through the table and into my bucket. So I'm going to set this thing up on here and we'll assemble this thing in real time. Last two videos have been quite long, over a half hour each. This one I don't expect to be any shorter, but you know, it's entertainment, plus hopefully learn something. Hopefully by the end of this, I learn something and I don't screw it up too bad. But in my fashion, I probably will. First thing I'm gonna do is put some new fluid on this thing. Oh yeah, I'm gonna make a mess. And any oil that comes out of it can go in the bucket. Sweet. Get this thing nice and full of transmission fluid. Oh yeah, this is gonna be tough already. This is why people buy special tools? I thought it was just to look cool and waste money. I'll go straight down in here. Please don't drop anything. So, should have drilled my hole bigger probably. I went ahead and drilled the hole bigger. Hopefully it works. Ah, much better. Okay. Cool. Well, that's good. Now I can put in this band. I don't quite know the order of everything yet. I'm sort of learning as I go. Next is going to be the splined shaft that goes down into the planetary. Like that. And then this shaft. And goes down in there. I don't know what the names of these things are. I'm sorry. Get on. There you go. But, well, also, I don't even know what they do. I'm not going to pull this drum apart because this is the one that came apart on me a little while ago and all the W clips went everywhere, or the springs. So I'm not even going to test that. But I do know that these 3 holes here have to line up with the 3 holes that are down here in the valve body. So I will pay attention to that now. That's really heavy. I'm going to put some more transmission fluid on it. God, I'm making a mess at this. Sick. Just what I wanted to happen. This is why I video everything. Oh, what a mess. Well, here's the cage for all these springs. Saved like 2. Well, time to get the magnet. Well, I guess the question is now, did I beat up the case? That I don't know. Hey, and there is a couple down there too. So it's always best to be sure. That would have destroyed this transmission. So let's start over. Yay. Obviously this is a mess. So I don't know if I'm going to use this one now or not because it is tedious putting all this stuff back together. So I think I'll just grab the other one out of my other transmission and put it in because it's a complete unit. And I think what I was supposed to do was put all of this stuff together first and then put it in, because then it would all go down as one unit and not have gravity pulling this thing apart. Back to square one again. So here's the one that came apart on me. There we are. You can see that. And this was the end, the top of it. So I'm going to take this one here off. Everything is accounted for in that one. I already had this apart and cleaned it out. Grease out the bearings, everything there really well. Okay, it's all good. Put this down. little bit wondering how I'm going to do this. Mainly because I've got to put this input shaft in first. This output shaft, sorry. I keep calling it input. Actually, let's make sure I have that clip on there. Yes, I do. Goes in first, that's all good. It's seated. Planetars are seated. Obviously this one has to go in first because this is the last band. Oh, there we go. I think I should, gosh, I should put this one in. I'll lay that bearing down there. Now this one first. We'll see how this goes. Oh, this is going to be hard. This is going to be extremely hard to do. Ow, my fingers hurt. Slowly. That was not to lose anything or break anything. That would be nice. This one's going to be contrary on me too. So I'll try to line it up down here the best I can. Straight down the bottom. Sweet. Small sign of good luck. Small sign right there. Now we can see that the threads are in line with this metal hole right here. That is where the 3/8 12-point little bolt goes. That's actually a through bolt. I'll see if I have it. I might actually install that right now. Here we go. That's this one here. That's what holds this drum in place. So we can put that one right in there. And that'll be the first third of the transmission installed. Next up is the C-clip and all of our frictions. This C-clip has a beveled edge, as you can see right here, and the bevel faces up. Next up is this band with the lip and the hole in it. So this hole here hooks into the dowel right here. And this lip hooks into the case over here. That there's a plunger that actuates on the back side of this. You can see where it's sort of worn in there a little bit. So we'll hook that into the dowel. That ends on the case. Let's put some more fluid down there. Makes such a mess. Let's see if I can hook my fingers down in here. Yeah, that hurts. So apparently the trick is to just rock it back and forth a little bit at a time until it sort of bottoms out. It's just not going to happen. Main thing is don't get upset, just keep at it. So I'm not forcing any weight at all on this, just the weight of the drum, a little bit of vibration on it. There we go. Now we can hear metal. So the drum is in. I fought with that thing for the last probably hour or an hour and a half. I'm gonna cut the video down a little bit just so you don't have to watch me go clunk, 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 and it not line up and pull it all out back and line up the clutches. Dude, it takes patience. So if you don't get it the first try, I did not get it the first try. Just take your time. Obviously there's people better than you and me at this, but here we are, it's our first time. So just take your time, be patient, don't push it, don't put any weight on it, don't hit with a hammer, don't breathe too hard on it. We don't want to break frictions and start completely over when it doesn't move or it slips. So I'm watching Ryan Blazer's video on this. A21 Bravo. This guy knows what he's at. I'm on the fourth something now. And what we have to look at now is there's a hole right here with threads in it. Just like the direct was, this hole has to line up right here with this hole so that the T40 Torx bolt can go in. Which, if I can find it, here it is. This little bolt here, that's also a through bolt, you can see, will hold that drum in place. So let's install it. I got almost a quart of oil gone through just assembly on this so far. I love that sound from machine surfaces. Alrighty, that lines up wonderfully. Next is the input shaft, which have seals that need to be kind of greased up a bit. Grease the lines here. Dude, that was a lot of work. Make sure that it's fully engaged. Next is going to be the oil pump. Put that in here. Huh, that actually came out much cleaner. Sweet. And the drill filings are gone. Step is to clean this pump up really, really well and assemble it. And you can see how much dirt came out of the transmission parts. That's crazy. The stuff needs to be insanely whistle clean or it's not going to shift or it's not going to go through the gears. Solenoids will be jamming up. We don't need any of that. So I'm going to go through this with a fine tooth comb or toothbrush and clean it up really, really well before I put it together. Phone died, but I wanted to get a little bit more done before I left. So I went ahead and just cleaned this up. Sprayed some brake cleaner on it, soaked it some more, dried everything off. Let's reassemble this thing. So I'm gonna lay it all out here. I should probably put the new seal in first, actually. And here's the new seal. Part number is National 714598. This is the oil pump / torque converter seal. So put that one in. There we go. Take any real special tools, just pop it on, make sure you use something flat like a piece of steel. Now if it was down over the shaft you might need a piece of pipe, but other than that it's fine. The dots on the gear face you. That way these notches, you can see the flats right there, torque converter comes in and locks in here. If you put it in backwards then it won't work. In one video, a guy said to put a little bit of grease on the outside of the pump here to help it prime. Whether I'm using the right grease or not, I don't know. But I'm not using very much. I'm sure it won't be enough to hurt. The best way I can see to line it up is this rectangular hole right here. Lines up perfectly with this rectangular hole right here. And this one that's cut on an angle lines up with this one that's cut on an angle. That would mean that these bolts would line up. I'm not sure if there's a requirement to put some sealant around the heads of these bolts, but I think I will, just to be sure that I don't get any leaks out of here. Somebody's definitely going to yell at me in the comments and say, "Why did you do that?" But we'll know soon enough if I ruin the transmission or not. I'll clean off all the excess RTV really well too, so nothing gets in through the transmission. Now, check the torque specs. Perfect. Next step is the pump gasket. It's just gonna go, first try. That never happens. Just need to find both holes right there, maybe. So it looks like they're all lined up. Now I'm going to draw the pump down with the bolts first, and then after I'll loosen them up, put some sealer around them, because these bolts need to be sealed. Pump is all torqued down. Everything here is sealed, torqued to 18 foot-pounds. Don't forget this little O-ring. You're supposed to replace it, I'm sure, but I don't have one. The little O-ring that fits into this notch right here, that's the torque converter sealing O-ring. You wouldn't want to forget that one. Now, everything on this end is put together. And just because, to calm my nerves, I'm just going to put some fluid down there. I'm sure it's not going to do anything, but it makes me feel better. Next up is the valve body. And here's the valve body. I took a picture of this whole thing before I plan on taking it apart, so I know where everything goes. I'm going to leave all these bolts in this plate, actually. Got to clean this up really well. Apparently a lot of stuff gets trapped in around these O-rings here. So I'll clean that, and then we can turn this over and make a whole mess of transmission fluid. Yep. So here's the gasket. Hopefully I don't tear that, because I don't have another one. These are all 8mm bolts. Oh, haven't really had one of these apart before, so this is all new to me too. So take note of what spring goes where. The long spring stays to the right of this one. I'm going to put those on just like that. This sounds crispy. Cool. Oh yeah, that's confusing. I don't think I'm going to try to remove this gasket. I have to drill holes in the shift passages, I guess I'll say. So I bet I'd be better off just drilling them out just as it is and cleaning it out really well after. Here's a picture that Ryan Blazer sent me from A21 Bravo for the holes to drill out. He said he always drills them out to 120, which I only have 1/8 inch drill bit, which is 0.125, so I'll use that. So I'm going to go drill those out with an 1/8 inch bit. I figured 1/8 inch probably wasn't big enough, so I think I'll just... Gotcha. Alrighty, just move this over here for future cleaning. I'm just going to drill it right on top of this cardboard to make it easier on me. So I saw a video where a guy said, drill partially through on one side, and then flip your plate over. Why is this not drilling? Oh. And flip your plate over and finish drilling through the other side. Wow. They said that'll stop it from burring, or as badly. Whew. Nice. Huh, no burrs. How cool is that? Okay, fourth is done. Let's go third. I think it's going to work. So, for off-road use, make holes 120. It says high stall converter. I'm going with a stock converter. This is going to be horrible. I love it. Remember all those times when I was like, don't do this at home, like, you know, grinding or welding or doing sketchy stuff. Like, actually don't, because it's probably not going to work. I don't know if this is going to shift or not. It could do absolutely nothing when I pull it down in gear. I have no idea. So let me be the test donkey first, and if it does work, then I guess it's up to you. But also, I don't know if I'm supposed to do this or not either. Whatever. It's going in the way it is now. This is like cooking. I'm not a very good cook either, actually. Let's put this spring in there, and that spring in there. I have no idea what these things are. Oh, they're getting some oil. Oh. I think that was done, actually. That was done. So, and click, click. You heard it, right? It's torqued. And the reason I said don't do this at home is not for safety. You're not going to lose an eye. It's just so you don't waste a big pile of money and time and then blame me because it didn't work. I mean, I don't want it to not work for you or for me. So that's nature of the beast, I guess. No. No. This looks much better on another note. So put all these ones back right here. Get in there. Those stay there. I know that one goes here. A couple of these bracket ones, I don't know where they go, so I'll check my picture. So this transmission came together at an alarmingly fast rate for my level of experience anyway. So who knows? My confidence level is at like, I'm gonna say like 70%, 75% maybe. Just because I'm not completely dumb, but I didn't use any new parts at all. No gaskets. I'm gonna put a new filter in it. Well, that's pretty much it. So yeah, confidence level, we'll see. Confidence that's not gonna leak, I guess, is something. That bracket goes there, that was good there, that was good. Let's put it back together. So now I have to get the transmission laid down on its back so I can put all the little check balls in without them falling off. I know you can use like Vaseline or hard grease or whatever, but I think it'd be easier just to lay it down on the bottom. Now, oh, that's heavy. How awesome would it be to drop this on the ground and break the bell housing again? I think it got heavier. Okay, close enough. And then we grab this piston with the spring on it. Put that down in place, make sure it's not twisted or anything. Fixed. So before I bolt the valve body on, I'm going to put the harness back out through here because it's easy to get at now. And then this piston with the pot on it, I'll clean that up and bolt that on. And then it's valve body time. Oh, I had something in there. Clean up the O-ring. Way. I'm going to star pattern so as not to warp the housing. I usually like to use ultra black around oil, but I only have ultra copper here at the moment, but it's just high heat stuff anyway. I'm not going to use very much of this. Just a skim, just to help it seal because it's a used O-ring. And any excess inside the transmission I'll wipe away. Somebody's definitely going to yell at me in the comments about this too. I'm not really globbing it on or anything, just a skim around there. We'll go in this way. Ooh. Sick. So it's seated, all the tabs are locked down here. I'll lay this out of place while we get ready for the belt body. I'm going to put some transmission fluid in these ports here where the check balls go, just to see if I can help hold them in place a little bit. One of these check balls we're going to leave out, and that's a reverse one because I did the direct feed, or sorry, dual feed direct drum. And this is going to be facing this way. Oh, so that makes sense. So Ryan Blazer sent me this. He circled number 9, which is a reverse. We're going to leave that check ball out, and every other one is going to be kept in. Now number 2 is only used on some models. It's not used on this one. So we'll just pop them in one by one. 1, 2, so that was there. So that was check ball number 10. So we can do this two-handed. No, that was check ball number 1, sorry. Number 10 is right here. We have 8 is over here. I'm not doing them in any particular order, just where I started. This is 3 and 4, so we'll put one there. And 1 and 4. 6 and 5 are here, so there's 6. 5. And then there's just 2 that we don't have. And then number 9, as you can see here, it's circled. That would be right here next to this piston. And I'm not going to put that one in. And now, as far as I can tell, I'm ready for the valve body. So I'm going to try to do all this in one shot without messing anything up. Now be mindful of the actuator here for what gear you're in. It has to be hooked into this plunger right here. So if you go and tighten this down and this isn't hooked up, it's not going to work, so you're going to have to unbolt it all again. So I'll lift this up. Actually, I won't. I'll go this way. Oops. And now it's hooked up. Simple. This is the thing about never doing this before, is I got a little bit of trial and error. Okay, this is all good. I looked online for a tightening sequence and I couldn't find anything. So, as for anything else, I like to work my way out from the center. Oh, don't brat. Be nice. There we go. Make sure that everything all snaps into place. That looks about right there. So the sequence for this one, just like every other bolt in the transmission, is 18 foot-pounds. Now you can see with this little bit driver, it doesn't torque it down anywhere near the final torque spec, so I'm not worried about having them over-torqued. I don't let the gun hammer. Oh, hey, everything is done on there. Harness is all clipped into place. Everything is plugged in, looks good. Shifter bracket is aligned. You can see here, if I move this by hand, there you go. Moves the shifter. This is all the way down in low. All the way back here is park. Now I'm going to take this gasket out, which I guess really I could have a long time ago, and put a new filter gasket in along with the new filter. Bolt the pan on. And then when I get it flipped over on its top, then I'll put the tail shaft housing on. Well, as far as I can tell, the hard part is over. Everything is bolted on, tail shaft with the new gasket, which the box for it is right here. This is national part number 4333N. It's the booted type, which I do like. Anytime you're doing these, install with this little hole facing down. In case any fluid comes out through, it can weep out of that hole and you'll see that it's leaking. Or if any water gets in there, it'll run out and not destroy your components. The filter kit is right here. CarQuest part number 96021. That's for the 80E. Also, I picked up this one because every dipstick tube that I've seen on these leaks. So, if I can get this out. Unless it's not actually, there it is. There we go. So, I'm going to go ahead right now and put that one in. Huh, easy. Done. Part number on that one is ATP SO-35. And that's also a CarQuest part. ATP makes flex plates and all that stuff too. A lot of transmission stuff. So this thing is done. And I didn't lose my little horseshoe clips because I snapped them back into the case. And of course this thing is really dirty and gross on the outside, but you know, so is that. So it's gonna match really, really well, I think. My next hurdle is to figure out the spacing on this flex plate, because from what I can see, it only has like one little spacer thing, which you're not gonna be able to see because it won't focus. But I'm gonna bolt the starter on, see if it lines up. If it does, then I'll bolt the transmission and engine together and set torque converter spacing, that kind of thing. And yeah, so this thing is done. It's done. It's been a long week. I haven't slept in 4 days. I've been dreaming about transmissions, dreaming about valve bodies and slippage and not going into gear. And I had a dream where it worked perfect once, so that was okay. But 5 o'clock this morning, I woke up, sat up straight, absolutely wide awake, and went, oh bleep, I forgot to put the spring in the reverse band servo. So yeah, I got up, busted out my phone really fast, turned on an alarm for 8:10 this morning, so while I was at work, I can put that spring in. So, and that is this big spring here that came out of the other one. Yeah. Now, all of this can go elsewhere. I think I need to keep the direct. I think I need to keep that one for my Turbo 400 build. That's something else I want to ask you guys. I don't know much about transmissions. I know this much, I guess, now. But a lot of people talk about putting 4L80 parts into Turbo 400s to make them stronger or shift better or whatever. So I've got a bunch of 4L80 stuff. What out of this can I put into the 400 that I have to make it stronger or better? I have heard about the direct drum or a planetary or something like that, but yeah, if you can, link me to a video or an old forum from 1999 that might help me out, whatever. So yeah, we're all done here now. This is a quite long video, and if you got this far, I thank you so much for sticking around and subscribing if you haven't. If you haven't, consider doing it, because we got a lot to go. And I'm gonna get the van back in here this weekend and start pulling it apart to put this and this in there. And it's gonna be a time. So yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good night, everybody.